everybody has seen this, they know what it is. Why don't you give from a high level the specs, exactly what it is before we get into the philosophical part? Welcome to the 2024 Chicago Auto Show, where this is a very big public show, but it's also a truck show. So you and I need to have a discussion with the man that knows trucks, very special guest and old friend, Andre from TFL Truck.
Thank you, MotoMan.
Thank you for joining me.
Yes.
So for those of you guys that have been following both of our channels over the years, you know we have these traditions of doing these tours.
Yes.
Where we go through and we talk about cars and trucks, and they usually end up on your channel. We did one of those yesterday.
Yeah, Roman, you did a podcast, which is on oldtfl.com, plug.
Shameless plug, I'd like to point out there. And thank you to Roman behind the camera. So I think you're just warming up to your boss. Is what
Yes,
you're doing.
he's here.
So today we're going to do it in reverse, but we're going to talk about your expertise, because I feel like the pickup truck and car worlds are merging. And I wanted you to kind of take us along on a journey showing very specific examples of how that's happening.
I think you mean the evolution of a pickup truck.
Okay, so he's the Dostoevsky of the world.
Well, we're standing in front of a Super Duty for a reason, because you and I discussed this, before the show, and I wanted to start here because this is a traditional pickup truck. It's a heavy-duty truck. It's got a massive frame underneath, fully boxed frame. It has lots of payload. Let's see, this is a 250, so I'll bet you it has about 3,000 pounds-ish of payload. It's got a big diesel engine, and it's got a traditional shape.
This is cheaper than I thought. I thought these things were all 100 grand. It starts at 45.
No, but that's for a two-door, two-wheel drive.
The work truck.
The work truck,
Got
base. This is a Platinum. The Platinum starts at $78,000, and if you put a diesel engine in there, it could go up towards 100,000.
So in reality, so those of you who don't know, this is the man that knows all about trucks. These guys single-handedly put Truck Trend out of business. So these are the guys who are the experts.
Thank you.
What is the volume seller? Is it the cheap truck, or is it the big truck, the expensive $100,000 truck for something like this?
Well, so for heavy duties, it's a loaded question. I mean, there's a lot going on here, right? Because, of course, fleet sales are about more simple vehicles.
Yeah.
F150s, base models.
But even these are not cheap. These go up to 80,000, 100,000.
Also, yes. Yeah. Yes, also, because F150 starts at 37-ish.
Yeah.
Could go up to 80. We're not talking about Raptors yet.
Yes.
But what's happening in the world of pickup trucks, they're becoming more luxurious, like that Platinum truck we just saw, and they're becoming more expensive, and they're becoming vehicles that families drive.
Yeah.
Right, so it's not just a business tool.
But when you say becoming, I feel like that's happened over the past many years. I feel like that started in the 90s and now has become a thing as we've here's a very fancy one, also a sport truck. But Roman, let's take a look at the interior of this thing and walk us through the interior.
Oh my gosh,
the
yeah, this is the Raptor R. This is the pinnacle of performance pickups, at least for Ford. But yeah, you're correct, MotoMan. So what happened in the late 90s? Before that, light-duty pickups like the F-150 were short cabs, large beds. There was not a lot of luxury features on them or nice interiors.
Yeah.
And then in the late 90s, they became crew cabs like this. They became more comfortable. That's when GMC Denali was born.
They were the first ones to do that?
To bring luxury to that segment,
Okay.
right? To the light duty, full-size segment.
What came first, the Denali or the Escalade?
The Escalade came first.
It was 97, I think.
By a couple years.
Okay.
But the Denali pickup truck really kind of kicked it off, I think. But this is a supercharged V8 5.2 liter race car engine, basically, in a pickup truck.
The Ford GT we've had on the show multiple times. In 2020 we had
the Predator
on the
engine.
It's basically the same engine.
Yes.
So that was what, 2015, 14 these things came out?
So 2010, the first generation of the Raptor came out. It had a big V8.
This is why he's the expert.
Then in 2017, the first turbocharged Raptor came out. And then now we have supercharged V8 trucks. and the suspensions became more sophisticated, better. I mean, that
But
has
in two different directions. Like that's more for like sand running, that kind of stuff, dunes. Where the fancy trucks you showed us, I would think that's more focused on work and ride quality.
Yeah, work related, really, and also weight carrying capacity, right? But in the Raptor, the shocks became more complicated and very fancy.
And then there's this.
So this is where the evolution continues, right? Because this is a compact pickup. This is the Maverick we're looking at now, and I wager it's a pickup truck. What do you say?
I disagree with you. That is not a pickup truck.
What?
That is a replacement for an inexpensive, small to mid-sized car, and I will tell you why. The ride quality on this is as supple as a mid-sized luxury car.
Okay, this is where you're wrong. Well,
Of course,
okay,
I'm wrong.
okay.
The Russian tells me I'm wrong.
No, you're not completely wrong. Here's my definition of a pickup truck.
Yes, sir.
It has to have four-wheel drive. This one does.
Okay.
It has to have a bed. This one does.
Do you want
And
to point out one of the things that's different about this bed from the other ones?
It's not separate from the cab.
Okay.
Okay. But it also has to do some work, so it could tow a trailer. I mean, Mavericks can tow up to 4,000 pounds. Some of them tow about 2,000. Some of them tow 4,000 pounds. But that's my definition, because everything else doesn't have a bed, and it's a car.
What is the basic, that $37,000 F-150 tow? What is that? What's the towing capacity there?
That would be between 6,000 and 7,000 pounds.
Okay, so if you
So
think
4,000 pounds.
4,000
is-
pounds here, and then
it's
the
okay.
Lariat, like the fancy version of these are 35 to 37, so about the same price.
Yes, and this is a
Roman,
Tremor version.
Show them the fancy bed on this one, Roman. Like
It's bed lined, it's beautiful.
This is very nice, yeah.
And it has, look, power outlets, lights. It's got a tie-down system. I mean, look at those tie-downs in the floor of the bed, those D-rings. I mean, it's beefy.
So what's the realistic, like the business of this thing now? Like you and I have a very good friend, it's a Motor Week, we can say that. She waited like a year to get that car.
Jessica.
Jessica,
Yeah.
yes, lovely. She used to
You
drive
called it a car?
I called it a car.
This is where we
You're going to
disagree.
correct me on this.
Well, this is where we disagree.
Oh, I know we disagree, but before we go on, hold on a minute. We got a special guest we got to bring on here. The return of the official preacher man, the official cleric of MotoManTV.
What's going on, big guy?
Raymond, my brother.
How are you?
Haven't seen you in a long time. Haven't seen this guy in 3 years.
It has been a minute.
Do you have some pearls of wisdom for the audience? Because you always have something to say.
But one that pertains to my friend. They say, what is friendship? Friendship is one soul dwelling in two bodies.
This is why he's
So
the
I
official
miss
cleric.
this young man. I miss this young man. This is my brother from another.
Pleasure.
Always a
We'll
pleasure.
catch up later.
Absolutely.
Okay, see you
Good
later.
to see you. Thank you very
Okay.
much. Thank you very much. Are you also my brother?
From another mother.
It's a family moment.
Okay.
Here at MotoMan.
That's really great.
This is a religious organization. You realize this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait a
okay,
minute,
so
wait a
now you're gonna correct me that I called it a car and I'm wrong.
Well, that's an issue I have because
You got a lot of issues. That's only one of them.
You heard my definition of a pickup truck.
Yes.
A bed, cargo bed, four-wheel drive, towing ability. I would call it a pickup. There's another evolution, which is electrification. There is no engine here. Where's the engine?
It's very flat. It's got a, you know what? It probably has a Volkswagen pancake motor from a square back. Is that what they did here? They put one in the back, one in the front.
No, it's an electric motor.
So now you owned one of these. All joking aside, you guys owned
F-150
one of these,
Lightning.
Yeah.
F-150 Lightning. Let's look at its face. Let it close. So this is the next step, right? We're having a lot of electrified pickups truck coming in from every direction. We had this, we put about 14,000 miles on one of these puppies.
Let's show him the inside as he's talking because it's still a truck. Like it looks like a truck on the inside.
Yeah,
They
in
didn't try
fact-
to change anything on the inside.
In fact, outside it also looks like a truck. Traditional hood space, cab, and bed, right? The three elements of a pickup truck. But there's an issue with electrifying pickup trucks. It's range.
Which you learned the hard way.
Yes, Roman took it all the way up to Prudhoe Bay, Alaska, and charging and finding charging infrastructure and also driving long distance was a problem.
I also saw you had a problem even when you added a roof rack or something like that to the truck and it lowered the range and then you
Yeah.
had to make a modification.
So when you're electrifying pickup trucks, you're becoming very sensitive to every modification, not just a roof rack or a little camper shell. Also changing tires from all seasons
So they have to be more narrow.
to a little bit more all-terrain off-roady tire, decreased our efficiency by 10%.
Wow, that's a
So,
huge amount.
and because you have limited amount of energy, right, about 4 gallons worth of energy, because 135 kilowatt hours. You're very sensitive to every modification you're making to that
So
truck.
it's not just airflow around the vehicle.
It's tires, it's weight, it's everything.
Okay, so that's something we're
Yeah.
learning, because I discussed this with my audience, and I always talk about airflow, but apparently we're learning in the truck world it's way more important than airflow. So what's this? Besides,
Well, this-
besides Nathan's car.
It is Nathan's. Did you say car again?
You know, I keep on making the mistake.
So, okay. So this is a Santa Cruz Hyundai, as we know. It's a little bit more car-like because the shape is more aerodynamic. It still has 4 doors, 5 seats, and a bed. And this one could tow up to 5,000 pounds.
Now, why can this tow more than that?
I don't know exactly. Maybe because this is the only pickup in the Hyundai's portfolio.
Yeah.
And the Maverick is not the only truck that Ford makes.
So what is it tied to? Like, put aside whether it's Hyundai, Ford, or General Motors, is it tied to the torque of the motor, or is it the frame? Is it both? How do they get tow rating?
The tow rating depends on many things, but primarily it has to do with powertrain cooling. So the cooling of the engine and transmission
Yeah.
or motors is very important, because when you're climbing that grade, you're asking for power consistently, and if it's overheating, you can't tow anymore, right?
Okay.
So it depends a lot on your cooling capability of your powertrain.
Fascinating. I thought torque was a big part of it.
Yes, yes, because electric trucks have lots of horsepower and lots of torque, but they can also heat up, right?
Absolutely.
As they're moving along.
Big problem for performance EVs as well. So we're getting into your realm here.
Yes, I want to use this red truck behind us as another example of the evolution of truck, because General Motors is teamed up with an aftermarket company, which is becoming a little bit more like an OEM, American Expedition Vehicles, and we're looking at a heavy-duty truck that's built at the factory, at the GM factory, with AEV components like this bumper, the underbody protection, the skid plates, and bigger tires as well. And
What
this
does
one is
something like
pricey.
this cost?
$92,890.
Dude, you could almost buy a GT4 for that.
You mean a 718
Yeah.
GT4?
Yeah, that would be way more fun than this.
Well, it depends on your definition of fun.
That's true. Where you live, this would be more
Because
fun.
if you want to tow 3 GT4s,
Now, before Roman closes the door, I got to ask you something, because this is something that bothers me. You guys know I'm a sucker for detail, and I love tactile feel. I feel like this is the one area that Ford kind of gets it right in the pickup truck world, or that Hyundai gets it right in that little trucklet. GM, I feel like they've kind of missed the mark here. Is that just a me thing, or is that just the way pickup trucks are?
no, I like Ford interiors a little bit better too.
And-
These seats are a little bit hard.
Yeah.
You know, the foam is a little bit hard, and not a lot of color, and the
Not
material.
a lot of dark. It's like
Yeah.
it's like a cave in there, almost like MotoMan's crow's nest. We'll
you're
have to
not
tell them
alone.
about that
You're
later.
not alone.
Okay, so this is not just a me thing.
No, no.
So why did not you own a GM pickup truck? Why'd you do that over, say, the Ranger?
I bought one of those. I have a Chevy Colorado Trail Boss.
Okay.
Very similar to that. I bought it because it was a brand new thing. Watch out.
Uh-oh.
It was a brand new thing. They
Walking backwards thing is tough.
removed the V6 and turbocharged. That's another evolution.
Is
right?
that okay?
Turbocharging.
Everyone's doing that. Did that in the car world. Roman and I talked about this yesterday. I feel like it's a shell game. You're saying, "Oh my God, we're getting better fuel economy," but the minute you put your foot into a 3.5 V6 in a F150, it's a V8 in terms of fuel economy.
Same thing happens here. Same thing happens here. This is a 2.7 liter engine. Oh, Roman pointed at cruise control. This has cruise control.
Oh yeah, someone couldn't afford the cruise control.
No, I could afford it, but I didn't know it was optional.
We're looking to you to be the truck expert, and you didn't know something was optional on your own truck that you bought. Roman, you need to fire
I
this
will
guy.
never live it down.
Are we doing the Silverado EV now? Is that what we're going to? as an evolution?
We can.
Yeah, I think we should.
We can.
Because we got to show that it's not just the truck.
Where-
At least for me, I see it as a design evolution too.
Yeah, it is.
Because these guys went a little bit different where Ford, their evolution from F-150 to F-150 Lightning, it's just a different propulsion system and optimized for electric, but it still looks like an F-150.
Yeah.
Here I got to tell you, I like that they brought the Avalanche back, because that's what it looks like to me.
It's
I think
totally
that's cool,
an Avalanche.
But they've made it a little bit more, I think it's more show car-esque.
Look at this. It's a completely different vehicle from a traditional Silverado, like you said. And it has their Ultium chassis, right? But we're looking at the RST, which is their kind of top of the line.
And what are we talking about horsepower and torque on something like this?
Huge, 750 horsepower, about equal amount of torque, air suspension, height adjustable, 4-wheel steering, and a mid-gate that you can fold down to carry very, very long items. Here's another one.
We'll get closer
another
on
one.
this one over here. So let's open up the door on this one. Still the same GM problem of it's a cave on the inside, at least this one.
It's a little bit of a
The
cave,
contrast
but
stitching is a little bit better here. You could tell that they've taken some of the design theme of the other EVs. Like you can see a little bit of
screen.
lyric in the
Yeah,
screen and
yeah.
that kind of stuff, and the big knobs, which I have to say, I'll give them that they've kept some of the UX pretty
ooh,
good.
look, it says first edition on the center
Oh, we
console.
should get that. You should buy that one. Oh, by the way, congratulations on the first Tacoma. These guys flew
Thank
all
you.
the way to
Thank you.
Houston, got it from a dealer that gets the trucks directly from Mexico.
First, yeah,
First
it's
one.
the first one. Yeah.
And yours was the first one off the truck.
It was the first truck that delivered it
Yeah.
over there.
Let's
Yes.
show them the frunk on this one.
But MotoMan, I cannot
sir.
afford this.
yes,
this
you
is
can.
a-
You make all that sweet TFL money.
This is $105,000 for RST Silverado EV.
Okay, so in all seriousness, do you think this will sell at $105,000? That's not, well, you know, I'm not going to say it because we're going to get to it. That's not a non-traditional OEM. Do you think that will sell?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one because even though they're using a humongous battery, that's
Yeah.
like 212 kilowatt hours in that pickup truck. And we actually tested a work version of that truck.
Yeah.
And I was able to go up to 500 miles, not towing range. There's still the network problem, right? You're still running into this, yes, I can go further, but where am I going to charge, right? You're still running into that issue. And I think part of the allure of the pickup truck is that freedom, right? Freedom to do anything, carry anything, tow anything, and go anywhere at any moment. And I think electrification is still kind of stifling that a little bit, you know, because you can't recharge on a road trip very fast.
I mean, there's a lot of moving parts in what you just said. I'm saying in the pool of people that want a pickup truck, will they spend $105,000 on an electric pickup truck?
Well, they can spend $105,000 on a pickup truck, yes, because they're buying diesel,
Yeah.
heavy duties for that money. They're buying other trucks for that money. I think it's going to be a tough sell.
Yeah, I think those
I think
people.
it's going to be a tough sell.
They'll gladly spend $100,000, but it's got to be a 250 diesel.
Yeah.
And in comparison, so what did you say? The torque was about 750 on that thing?
Yeah.
What's the torque on that F250 diesel we started with?
Oh, it could be 1,200.
Oh, so the diesel does out torque an electric motor.
Yeah, but of course it's a different feeling because it doesn't out horsepower it.
And it's not
out torque it.
instantaneous.
Yes.
It's not instantaneous.
Well,
So
this is another.
performance-wise, that's the vehicle. The performance-wise is the EV.
Yeah, acceleration-wise, absolutely. This is a Honda Ridgeline. Why are we
So-
here? It's because
Why are we here? I was just gonna say.
it's because
I often say, why am I always on camera with a Russian guy? But I am.
why am I here? It's because it's another take on the pickup truck. People make fun of me when I call this a pickup truck. You're gonna do the same. But look at the size of this bed. It's humongous. You could put anything you want, 4x8 sheet of plywood in here.
Yeah.
The tailgate is fancy.
But this, correct me if I'm wrong, this is a unibody vehicle.
Yes, it's got a subframe underneath though.
Yeah.
So it is a unibody-ish with a subframe. 1,500 pounds of payload, so good payload.
Check the, Roman, pull into this. Look at how deep this thing is. And it's one of these things where you could put ice in it,
Yes.
and you could do this thing where you hose it out. I have to tell you, I don't really feature Honda on the show, but I am a big proponent of Honda because I feel like they're one of the best engineering companies. And when they do get into something, they do it right. I've always been a fan of this vehicle because I feel like it's a Swiss Army knife.
And it's also successful for Honda. I mean, they don't sell more than Ford or Chevy, but for them, it's a
What's
success.
the volume of something like this? How many do they sell?
It's 3,500 units a month. So
That's
what is
pretty
that?
good.
35
so you're
or 40,000
talking almost between 40 and 50,000 units a month. So that pays
a year.
That pays because a year.
Sorry,
a year.
Sorry, a year. What is this?
That's the new pickup truck. That's where the pickup truck is going.
No, I hope not, because you cannot carry much weight there.
So that means Roman can't get on that thing?
Well, he tried, but they made him wear a helmet. And,
Yeah. So
and-
I have to point out something. You guys missed it, but Chevy actually had a car in their display. Like Honda still actively sells Accords.
Yes.
But Ford and GM, they're all trucks all the time. And
Yeah.
there was a Malibu. I was like, that's a classic car at this point.
Yes, it is.
So
Yeah.
back to the numbers here. If we're being honest about the Ridgeline, it is just kind of like a derivation of the Pilot platform,
It is,
correct?
yeah.
So that's why they can afford to make a vehicle for Honda at low volumes. The 50,000 is
And
low volume.
Yes, and also they're making it a little bit more butch, right? You saw that, they put
Yeah.
all-terrain tires on it. They're making it a little bit off-road capable with the Trail Sport Edition. By the way, the Ridgeline, my only gripe with it, it's really comfortable and large, but it can only tow about 5,000. So it's the same towing capability as that Santa Cruz that we looked at.
So the reality is, it looks to me at least, if it's unibody and it's front-wheel drive base, which these vehicles are,
Right.
they don't put the cooling in it to the point
Or-
where
and that
they
maybe-
get the extra towing. Let's come
And
on
also
over
the-
here. Let's come on over here.
Sorry, and that may be also a problem with the chassis itself, right? Because as soon as you put a lot of weight and you have a unibody, unibody may be able to flex in weird ways,
Yeah.
right? So that's also,
Which is, if we go back to the Maverick, that's the reason why you want the cab and the pickup bed separate. Because of the
that's
flex.
the traditional way to do it.
Another point that you brought up I thought was interesting. You said was AER for GM, how they're bringing in an aftermarket that's presenting it now
Yes.
as OEM.
Yes,
I feel like Toyota copied that now with all the old man emu stuff.
and also ARB.
Yeah, on ARB, exactly.
Yeah, and the ARB things we're doing.
Now we got to turn it over to
Why?
the future.
Why is it so crowded here?
I don't know why. You
Well, it's
see
because of
anything?
that. Because of that.
Is that a pickup truck? That's not a pickup truck.
Well, by my definition, it is. Because I said four-wheel drive.
Okay.
It has to have a bed, and it has to tow be able
Let's
to
come
tow.
around here. As you can
Yes.
see, this is the belle of the ball. It is mobbed at the show here.
This is a Cybertruck.
So, but everybody has seen this. They know what it is. Why don't you give from a high level the specs, exactly what it is, before we get into the philosophical part of it?
Okay, so this is their first pickup truck, and what they're starting. Look at this. This hubcap. They recalled some of these
Because
because
of this cover?
this element was eating into the tire
Oh, I
as
didn't
it
know
was
that.
driving. So they made this soft.
From what I understand, this covers the wheel to make it more aerodynamically efficient. going after
But it's also air. Yes, it's air efficiency. This is a dual motor. So the first Cybertruck that's on sale is a dual motor. Do you want to sit in it, by the way?
Yeah, I'm going to get it on the other side.
It's
We're
the
just
first one
about
is
to
a
do
dual
some
motor
shooting. Can I just get in there because my guy's there? Yeah, sure. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Foundation series.
Okay, I'm gonna give you the camera, Andre.
Okay. And they also have a tri-motor. So the dual motor is around 600 horsepower. The tri-motor will have higher horsepower levels, but they will come a little bit later. And look at this. So that's how you push it up to go into drive.
Yeah, so it's like a Tesla Plaid. Basically, it's the same UX as other Teslas.
Yeah, but it's a little bit more. I mean, if you hit this, look at all the complexity here. You can do a lot. You can control the suspension, you can control the bed. This has 2,500 pounds of payload, 11,000 pounds of towing. So the actual
So
numbers.
this has real street cred of a pickup truck.
Yeah, so the numbers make sense. The styling is very, polarizing and really interesting.
But do you think that real pickup truck people will accept this? Or is this really for the folks who are looking for the next new thing?
I think this is the evolution we're talking about. So I'm thinking that this brings the pickup truck to a new audience, because a traditional Super Duty buyer, I don't know if they will even consider this as an option. But a person who loves electrification and who loves Tesla would definitely consider this. And the price, MotoMan, is for a dual motor $100,000. For the tri-motor Cyber Beast, $120,000 for the Foundation series.
Jesus, and what does the Foundation add you?
So the Foundation
I'm
series.
I got to sit back. 120,000 as a Porsche guy. Even I need to sit down.
It gets you a couple things. It gets you full self-driving, so some of the driver assistance technologies.
This is what, 10 grand on other
and
cars.
also ability to get it first. You know,
So you're
you own
you're
a
getting
GT3
a limit. Yeah.
Touring.
Yes. Which you have yet to drive. You will soon drive.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what that extra money gets you.
So
This
exclusivity. How many of the
exclusivity.
Foundations are they making?
We don't know.
So they didn't tell. They just
did-
said it's just the first run.
It's the first run. We don't know exact numbers.
That's
Some
like
people said 1,000. Some people said 2,000 units. Some people said 10,000.
They're
We don't
taking
know.
a page
We
out
don't
of
know.
the Porsche book.
But
so
here,
show us the bed here. What's special about the bed?
here's what I like, Roman, MotoMan.
You called me Roman.
I called you Roman. Tie downs. So 4 tie downs in the bed. 4 tie downs on the. You have a track system here that you can move these. It has a bottle opener. So you don't have a bottle opener. I do. You have an ability
oh
to
my
charge.
God. It's got a. This is a 240 plug.
Yes, 240 volts.
So I could charge a car with the plug I have at the hangar.
Uh-huh.
That okay? I love that.
Also, it has a Ridgeline cubby.
Nice.
Not as deep, not as big.
I have to say, the ingenuity of this bed is fantastic. This is where I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like Toyota kind of lags in this area.
Well, not really. You know what's not fantastic?
You know, she just rolled past me on that.
No.
Yeah.
I can't reach here. Can you reach?
No.
What if you're carrying a box here and some cargo? So this is not utilitarian.
So usability is an issue here.
But you would have to climb in here, you would have to go inside, you have to pull stuff out. But on paper, 2,500 pounds of payload, 11,000 pounds of towing. I towed a large camping trailer behind one of these.
Yeah.
And we went you could go about 130 miles with that camper, and now you have to recharge once again.
And what's the range without the camper?
They say 300 miles.
So it's more than half you lose.
Yes, but
That
it
is-
happens to diesel trucks and gasoline trucks as well. You lose half your range when towing, except it's really simple to refuel. That's
so
the issue.
the issue is not losing the range, the issue is how long it takes to get energy back
I
in the
think
vehicle.
so. I think
I
so.
wasn't aware of the differential with diesels, how much range you lose.
You
So
lose a
that's
lot.
an education. This is good for us
no,
to know.
no, you lose a lot. What do you think about these door
I think that's a gimmick.
actuators?
I think it's a gimmick. I think that's the kind of thing that'll break over time. But I have to say, you know, a lot of people like to beat up Elon. I am one of the few people in this industry, huge fan. Yes, I come from the tech world, so I kind of understand where he's going. I love the simplicity of the design. I got to tell you, I also love that it's both squared off, but there's proportions to it. Like normally a car that's got like a slab-sided design, which this does, it doesn't bow out. This one, almost like a 928, if you were to put a crease in the quarter panel of a 928, that's kind of what you got here.
You know what I don't love? Is fingerprints.
Oh,
Look.
I hate that.
Look, it's stainless steel. It's an alloy that they designed themselves at Tesla.
Yeah.
And
Do you think that was an advantage or a disadvantage? Put aside the fingerprints. Do you think that will make it more durable?
well, the jury's still out.
Okay.
Because it made this color over time. You have to wash it. Some people just wrap it, right? They use film, and make it fancy.
Those of you that follow me on Instagram saw a video of my car next to this so you could see the size difference
Yeah.
before the car was out.
Yeah.
That's a friend of mine that works at Tesla. And he brought a week later a wrapped one, a black one. Yeah.
So this is where it's now going. I mean, it's getting pickup trucks to a new audience, I would say. It's bringing that pickup.
So the big
to a new-
question is, what we saw traditional, we saw different interpretations of what a pickup truck future is. Do you think those people will convert to this, or this is a completely different person?
different person, I think, still.
You know what? You've been on the show before. This is the point of the episode where we turn it around to the audience. I think we should give them a question. What do you think the question should be?
The question is, if you own a diesel pickup truck right now or a gasoline truck, would you consider buying one of these? Or even the Lightning, or even that Silverado EV?
That's a fantastic question, because I think that the answer will be the canary in the coal mine. So with that, we turn the episode around to you. Let us know in the comments below or via our social media, MotoManTV, all one word, MotoManTV, all one word, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And if you found this episode interesting, I highly suggest you watch my tour with Roman. You can see that here. And then I'm going to say thank you to this gentleman here who's now on his phone. How dare you do that to me?
Well,
You're
I
like
thought
a
you were
13-year-old girl.
I thought you were closing.
These rude Russians. Go back to Russia or wherever you're from. Thank you, Roman, for running the camera, and we'll see you guys on the next tour with TFL.